Good afternoon. I am Dustin, author of the book Red Twilight. It is 11:30:14, and it's time for another video log. Honestly, I don't know how much I have to say today. It's been about 2 weeks since I started taking my new medication for my depression, and I'm actually starting to really kind of feel the results. I'm starting to actually feel a little bit better about myself. It didn't, clear up everything like I sort of hoped it would, but, I've already talked about that. In the last week, I've only had one angry outburst. And granted, it was kind of bad, but I survived it, and I don't think that anyone got too badly hurt, which is a bonus. I guess how that started is I was on my way up to Cub with my roommate and one of our friends from middle school. The phone started ringing, and the guys everybody of course checks their pockets, because for some reason when you're sitting in a car you can't remember your own ringtone. But I knew who it was. It was my roommate's phone ringing, and he has presets to all of his contacts, so if it's a friend calling him, he knows which friend it is before he picks up. It was his friend Rachel. He checks the message, he puts the phone back in his pocket. I look to him when we hit the next stoplight, and I ask him what's going on. She says at me and says nothing's going on. Paranoia kicks in, and I don't believe him. So I start to get angry. My heart rate picks up a little bit. I start to sweat a little bit. When we get to Cub, which is at that point only a few blocks away, I pull my keys out of the ignition. After turning off the car, stick my keys in my pocket, and I walk off, leaving the guys to sit in the car by themselves for a few seconds before they can catch up with me. So the first person to catch up with me is Kirk, our friend from middle school, and he says, "Dustin, what's going on?" I tell him, "Kirk, I'm mad." "Why?" "Because Phil was on the phone while we were in the car, and he didn't tell me what was going on." Kirk says, "But he did say. He said nothing was going on." That's not an answer! When someone asks you what's going on, nothing is a sidestep, not an answer. So that got uncomfortable. And Kirk goes on to say, "Dustin, you're becoming highly obsessive, right? You're just acting weird." Kirk has just decided to adopt my anger. "You are very close to walking home, buddy." Kirk's absolutely terrified when I say this. Again, shakes his hands at me and says, wait, what are you talking about? Are you kicking me out? Your house is 5 blocks from here. You can walk home if you like. Then Phil catches up. I don't know how puny 90-pound Kirk managed to outrun Phil, who's a fairly well-developed guy, but I guess he did for some reason. Maybe Phil stopped to tie his shoes, or tripped, or fell asleep. I don't know. And he asked me, "Dustin, what's going on?" I say, I'm mad. I'm angry." He asked, "Why?" "Because when I asked you who was calling, you didn't answer." "Dustin, you know who's calling? My phone has all preset ringtones. If it's somebody who's in my phone book, it has a special ringtone." And I did say, I said nothing's going on. "That's not an answer. That's a sidestep." And he points out to me, "Actually, Dustin, when it comes to sidesteps, you do seem to enjoy them. More often than not, when we ask you what you're in the mood to do, you say, oh. And actually, that's a fair criticism. So, we pick up sour cream. What do we eat for dinner? I don't remember. I know sour cream was on the list. It was something I cooked in the oven, I know that much, because I had to set the fire alarm. Anyway, we get home, we don't cook for a little while yet, because Phil goes back to his room and shots himself in for a little bit. At this point, I've started to calm down. And I looked at Kirk and I say, I apologize, man, things got out of control there and I got mad, and now Phil's mad, and we're probably not going to be playing any cards tonight. Kirk nodded and said, yeah, I understand. Thank you, Kirk. Phil comes back about a half hour later, and he lays down on the couch and starts crying. I don't quite know what's going on at this point, but Kirk jumps over and sits on the couch with him, and Kirk asks, Phil, what's up? And Phil's response, as best as I can understand it, is there's nothing I can do for Dustin. Dustin's depression is crazy, and it seems the only thing that I can do is dedicate myself to helping him heal. And that, of course, means that I need to give up on my friends, give up on my relationships. I interject. I did not make that assertion. And Kirk asked me, so Dustin, what do you think we should do? This is my problem. Honestly, it is. And I want Phil to do what he wants to do. And I want to do what I have to do to get healthy. So as this conversation goes on, Phil is not calming down, it seems, and is yelling at Kirk. I'm sitting in the corner right over yonder. I'm actually in my living room today instead of in my bedroom talking. I reach into my pocket. I pull out my box cutter, and I start juggling it while we're sitting there. I'm just, looking for something to occupy my hands, because sitting there and yanking my ponytail is not a particularly good idea, I don't think. I'm starting to get angry again. My heart rate's getting up. I'm starting to have trouble controlling my breathing. It takes me a few minutes to start to calm down. I then notice that I've pulled my knees into my chest and I've laid one arm across my legs. And I'm still holding my box cutter, but I'm not juggling it anymore. I'm now taking stabs at my forearm. And oddly, I now have discovered that razor blades don't cut human skin all that well. Or at least, not on the back of the arm. Because I was sitting there taking slashes at myself for several minutes. I'm not really bleeding, but my skin's gone all raw. Maybe I had a dull blade, thank God. Kirk notices I haven't said anything in a few seconds, and he looks over and says, Dustin, you feeling alright? I kind of freeze. I look at my arm. I look at my hand. I look at Phil. I look back to Kirk. I say, hold on a second. I walk into the bathroom, I grab a bottle of sodium peroxide, and I douse my arm in it. Just to make sure that I'm okay. I'm still not bleeding, so I guess I'm okay. I walk back into the living room and I sit back down where I had been sitting before, and Phil sits up at that point and he looks at me and says, Dustin, what's going on? I nod and I reach into my pocket and I pull out my box cutter, I pull out my wine bottle opener, I pull out my buck knife, and I hand them to him and I say, can you hold these for a little bit? They then both look at me and they're both staring at me trying to figure out why I just pulled all my tools out of my pockets. And Phil says, Dustin, what did you do? I decided to take a hunk on my arm. Kirk says, holy shit. Phil says, hand me your knives. I point and say, I already did. I didn't, actually tell him I took a hunk on my arm, because I really didn't. I told him that I cut myself a little bit while I was playing with my knives. And playing with my knives is not an uncommon scenario. So, it's not unbelievable that I could have dropped one of my knives while juggling it and stabbed myself in the hand or something like that. The conversation had gotten pretty weird at one point in time. Phil was talking about leaving since he couldn't do anything to help me, and I couldn't handle that. But that was Tuesday. I feel better now. I feel a lot better now. I'm not sure what it's going to take to set me off again, but at the moment I'm calm. I'm getting up, I'm taking my medicine, I'm going for my jog, I'm eating my bread. I just didn't go for my jog today, just to be fair. I was up at 5:15 in the morning, and strangely, so was Phil, and I just didn't feel like it. Thank you. I enjoy the opportunity to sit here and talk like this. In case nobody's picked up on it yet, when I do my video vlogs, those are actually fairly intimate. That is me sitting and talking directly to you, talking about where I've been, what I feel. I feel like this is really part of the road to recovery. I need to make this connection. I need to be intimate with people. Why do I post to YouTube? Well, because honestly I feel like YouTube is pretty safe. I've only been in one flame war with anyone, and honestly I started it, so oops. My average view on my account is fairly low. I know that none of my friends are watching my YouTube page, aside from Jared. I know that Kirk is subscribed to my channel. I know Phil is subscribed to my channel because I subscribed myself to my channel from his computer. I know Rachel is subscribed to my channel. But, if as many people as many of my friends had subscribed as are actually watching my stuff, more of my videos would be in the double digits. Okay. That's about enough for today. Thank you very much. This has been Dustin Fader, author of the book Red Twilight. This has been another vlog. Have a good day.